Welcome to the stunning and harsh beauty of the Sonoran Desert, a landscape shaped by extremes and home to a fascinating array of life. Among the desert's iconic inhabitants stand the chain fruit cholla, a resilient cactus that plays a pivotal role in this ecosystem. The chain fruit cholla, or jumping cholla, whose scientific name is Cylindropuntia fugita, is a striking cactus native to this desert, extending from Arizona into parts of Mexico. Growing up to 3 meters tall, its cylindrical, spiny stems gleam in the sunlight, while its magenta flowers bloom in the late afternoon. The fruits, hanging in long chains, serve as vital resources for desert wildlife and act as propagules, aiding in the cactus's spread. Our study took place in Saguaro National Park, near Tucson, Arizona, a region that offers a window into the intricate relationships between desert plants, animals, and human-altered landscapes. Picture Rocks Road, a single road cutting through the park, provides the perfect setting to explore how road proximity influences these interactions. In our study, we were looking at how crucial plant-animal interactions, like seed dispersal, could be altered by road proximity, potentially endangering the ecological integrity of national parks. Therefore, are these changes driven by shifts in wildlife abundance near roads? And if so, just how close must animals be for these effects to emerge? Trail cameras were placed in front of cholla cacti at various distances from the road, capturing animal activity over 2 years, from 2022 to 2024. The footage revealed which species crossed paths with the cameras, offering insights into their seasonal behaviors and road-related preferences. Animal presence was analyzed by calculating the proportion of days each animal group appeared, using logistic curves in JMP Pro across seasons and the entire study period. We analyzed distribution patterns for 9 animal groups. Here's what we found for each one of those groups. This graph captures the seasonal variations in deer sightings relative to their distance from Picture Rocks Road, revealing how road proximity influences plant-animal interactions such as seed dispersal. Across all seasons, deer activity is lowest near the road, and generally increases with distance. The monsoon season exhibits the steepest rise, with the highest proportion of days with deer beyond 600 meters, suggesting that road effects diminish significantly at greater distances during this period. In dry summer, sightings increase rapidly between 400 and 600 meters away from the road, suggesting strong negative edge effects on deer. In both winter and spring, the proportion of days with deer increases rapidly close to the road, suggesting minimal road impact during these seasons. Finally, autumn shows moderate edge effects on deer. Supporting research indicates that mule deer in the Sonoran Desert avoid roads except along highly developed migratory routes, where avoiding roads would disrupt their movement significantly. Since Picture Rocks Road is a single road bisecting the park, deer may come closer to it during migration seasons, potentially explaining the increased sightings near the road in winter and spring when migration is more likely to occur. Hare distribution patterns highlight varying levels of edge effects based on the distance from the road and season. In the dry summer, edge effects are the weakest, with an inflection point at just 60 meters from the road, where hare presence stabilizes. In spring, hares remain common near the road, but their proportion increases steadily, albeit at a decreasing rate, with distance. In autumn, hare sightings increase with distance, but the differences remain minimal. Winter reveals the strongest edge effects, with the proportion of the sightings increasing sharply only further from the road. Interestingly, during the monsoon season, hare sightings decrease as distance increases, indicating a preference for areas closer to the road during the season. Previous studies suggest hares generally avoid major roads such as highways or freeways, but are more tolerant of minor roads, such as Picture Rocks Road, during vegetation growth seasons like the monsoon season. Roadsides may also provide open areas for courtship or mating during spring, which could explain the higher presence of hares near the road during this period. Peccary distribution generally increases with distance from Picture Rocks Road across all seasons, although the strength of edge effects varies. Autumn shows the least pronounced edge effects, with the highest peccary sightings occurring closest to the road. In contrast, dry summer exhibits the strongest edge effects, as peccaries are nearly absent within 300 meters of the road. Monsoon and winter seasons also show strong avoidance near the road, with sightings significantly increasing beyond 300 meters. Spring presents a different pattern. Although peccaries are more common further from the road, their presence remains high even at close distances. Research on peccaries in Argentina supports these findings, showing higher densities of peccaries in areas with fewer roads. The seasonal variations in this study may reflect factors like spring births, when young peccaries might explore areas near roads, which can serve as landmarks or corridors for movement. Coyotes show a consistent pattern of increasing presence with distance from the road across all seasons, though the strength of edge effects varies as well. Autumn shows the most pronounced edge effects, with sightings consistently increasing with distance. In dry summer, coyotes are absent near the road, but sightings begin to increase beyond 88 meters, reflecting milder edge effects. Monsoon season shows stronger avoidance of the road compared to dry summer, with an inflection point further away from the road. During spring, coyote sightings are higher near the road but increase steadily beyond 340 meters. In winter, coyotes remain present near the road but show a gradual increase with distance. Interestingly, some studies contradict these results, finding that coyotes tend to select roads and agricultural areas as corridors in mixed-use landscapes. These differences may reflect the lower traffic levels on Picture Rock's road compared to major roads, allowing for greater avoidance in this case. Bobcat distribution consistently increases or stabilizes with distance from the road across seasons, reflecting strong edge effects. In autumn, bobcats are absent within 100 meters of the road, but sightings increase steadily up to 340 meters. Dry summer displays similarly strong edge effects, with sightings increasing only at 577 meters from the road. Monsoon season sees no bobcats near the road, but their presence rises sharply around 340 meters. Conversely, spring shows no clear edge effects, with bobcat sightings remaining nearly constant across distances. Winter mirrors dry summer, though the increase in sightings occurs closer to the road. These results align with previous findings that bobcats prefer dense vegetation for stalking prey and avoiding predators. Roadsides often lack sufficient cover, deterring bobcats from these areas. Although no graphs were generated for badger activity due to limited data, observed trends reveal varying edge effects across seasons. In autumn and monsoon seasons, the proportion of days with badgers decreases with distance from the road, indicating a preference for areas closer to the road. In contrast, during spring, badger activity increases as distance from the road grows. For winter and dry summer, there is no discernible difference in badger activity relative to road distance, suggesting a lack of edge effects during these seasons. Previous research supports the idea that badgers often favor roadsides due to loose soils that facilitate digging and the abundance of rodent prey found in such areas, aligning with our findings for autumn and monsoon seasons. However, the spring results may reflect a shift in behavior during a critical period for badgers. Spring is a time when badgers are likely raising cubs born in late winter or early spring. Mothers may exhibit cautious foraging behavior to avoid threats and stay closer to their sets to protect their young, reducing their likelihood of crossing roads. Like with badgers, no graphs were created to analyze fox activity due to limited data, but distinct trends emerge regarding their edge effects. During dry summer, monsoon, winter, and spring, the proportion of days with foxes increase with distance from the road, suggesting an avoidance of areas near the road. In autumn, however, the pattern reverses, with a higher proportion of days with foxes observed closer to the road. These findings are intriguing, as previous studies indicate that gray foxes, a species found in the Sonoran Desert, typically do not avoid roads. Instead, they are known to frequently cross them and use roads as corridors to evade competition or predation, particularly with coyotes. The preference for areas closer to the road during autumn might reflect this behavior, while the avoidance in other seasons could be driven by seasonal changes in resource availability or shifts in predation risk. Show a distinct pattern for areas near Picture Rocks Road, contrary to trends observed for most other species. Across all seasons, bird sightings are consistently higher near the road. Specifically, in winter and in dry summer, there is a drop in sightings very close to the road, suggesting that in these seasons birds can only be around roads. While most studies suggest birds actually avoid roads instead of wanting to be near them, one study supports our findings, noting that roadside habitats may offer abundant resources, reduce predation risk, and favorable foraging conditions, such as easy-to-move soil. Rodents exhibit seasonal variations with proximity to the road. In autumn, rodents are more common near the road, with sightings decreasing sharply beyond 273 meters. In dry summer, edge effects are stronger, with sightings increasing significantly around 500 meters from the road. During monsoon and spring, rodent sightings gradually increase with distance, indicating a slight preference for areas further from the road. However, in winter, rodents are more common near the road, with only a slight decline in sightings as distance increases. Studies generally align with both of these results. For instance, one study found that roads may act as movement barriers for the kangaroo rat, which is a species of rodent that lives in the Sonoran Desert. However, in another study on kangaroo rats, it found that the soil near roads actually is more beneficial because of the ease of digging, dust bathing, and higher soil seed banks exhibited in this habitat. Annual data reveals that 6 out of the 7 species prefer areas further from the road, with birds as the sole exception. Badgers and foxes also showed similar patterns to the majority. This general pattern suggests that species sensitive to human disturbance tend to avoid roads, while those benefiting from edge effects or roadside resources are more likely to be found near roads. These findings contribute to the broader understanding of how roads influence wildlife behavior and habitat use in human-altered landscapes.